Hi everyone, today I'd like to tell you about sawgrass. Sawgrass grows in swampy areas. Occasionally you can find it scattered around in dry areas, but it mostly likes living by rivers and streams and in swamps where I'm filming today. You can tell sawgrass because it grows in large clumps and it also produces these long black flower stems. Although the edible part that I'm talking about today is the core of the stems, I've always thought that perhaps the seeds might be good to eat. They would be relatively easy to harvest, but I'm not sure about getting them out of their little sheaths. The seeds are small, but if they're easy to harvest and grind, well then that probably doesn't make a great deal of difference. But anyway, the reason that it's called sawgrass is because the leaves have very, very tiny toothed edges, and when you brush against them it will cut your skin. You've got to be very careful not to brush them the wrong way. You can run your hand along them this way towards the ends, but you don't want to run your hand towards the plant itself, or it can cut you to the bone. So you've really got to watch your step when you're harvesting the stems of these. Okay, so when you're harvesting sawgrass, you want to look for young stems that don't have a flower stem coming out the top. Once they've got a flower stem, then they're too hard in the middle. They don't have an edible core. When I used to take people, well, the first few times I used to take people on survival courses, I used to get them to harvest these plants with a knife, with a pocket knife or a sheath knife. No matter how careful we were, there were always people getting cut, so I ended up bringing loppers with me on each course, just to make it easier for people to learn how to harvest it and where to find the edible parts in this plant. So to look for the edible part, you're looking for where the leaves come out of the stem. Being very careful not to cut my fingers. I'm hoping this is on camera. Right down where the base of the leaves are joined onto the stem, there's a hard little knob, and you want to cut below that knob. Now, it's quite tough. Oops. Here we are. I'm not sure if you can see it, but here's the knob, and if we take off some of these leaves, hopefully you'll be able to see. Really, if you're just beginning and you haven't done this before, I really would recommend you use leather gloves. It takes a little bit of time, especially when you don't want to be cut. Here is the hard part below the knob, and the part you eat is about this long inside here. You take off all the leaves until you get to a white core. It actually is quite nice. It's one of the better wild foods. It doesn't have a lot of flavour. It tastes like artichoke hearts, but it's better than having a bad flavour. And I really like it. Now, it's starting to get a bit lighter now in the core, so I'm going to cut that off with my loppers. You can see the core there. I probably cut it just a little bit short, but anyway. I'm going to take this home and I'll harvest a few more and cook them at home. The reason I'm not taking it back to the white core is because they oxidise really quickly and turn brown, and even though they're still edible at that stage, they don't look as nice. So I like to cook to take them like this. When I'm back at home, I can take the rest of the leaves off and immediately pop them into some boiling water. Right, after pulling all the outside leaves off these shoots, you end up with these inner cores. You know that you've got down to the edible inner core when you can stick your fingernail in them. So we started off with these shoots, ended up with these thin cores. Look, I understand that you like artichokes, you don't get a great deal of food out of them, but when you've got loppers, it doesn't take long to actually harvest a heap of these. So we'll just cut these off at the base and put these in some boiling water. You can roast them too. All these green bits at the top are inedible, too hard. You can tell from your knife where the soft bit starts. Whoops, I think I need to take another layer off that one. A bit hard having the camera in one hand. Whoops, now they're going to make liars out of me. But anyway, so I'll take another layer off these and pop them into some boiling water. Okay, and after 6 to 8 minutes boiling, they're just starting to look a bit translucent and they're ready to eat. Or they're boiling hot, but they're ready to eat now. These fat bits are just the soft edible bits that I trimmed off the bases. But a bit hot. I'll wait for them to cool and then I'll eat them. Okay, and now the taste test. Nice and tender, mild. Probably do better with some sort of sauce with them, but certainly good to eat. Thank you for watching.